We're going to be using thermal imaging. So why would we want thermal imaging inside of a ghost hunt?
To see when things appear.
How so?
That freaked me out for a second. I saw him.
How?
Because they're cold.
Right. Good job. See? Look at him. The skeptic had it right, guys. He beat everybody to the punch. All right, so you guys should be able to see me in there, right? The red, orange, and yellow guy. Yeah. If you were a bridal party, this would work out really well. So sorry, fellas. That means I'm the hottest thing inside the video right now. So yeah, drunken bridal parties, again, you guys get it. But anyway, we're looking for blue and black to either start taking shape or to start moving on its own. When I say taking shape, I want it heads, shoulders, moving arms and legs. So you guys are getting the point of this. So with this particular camera, does it capture something every night? No, but if we're not recording, we're not going to get it. Right. So this is a FLIR camera. This is what firemen would use to actually help save people. It's just attached to a cell phone. That's the cool thing about it. As great as the hardware is, the software sucks. If we record for too long, we're going to lose footage, and I don't want to do that. So I am so sorry. How rude of me. I didn't go through names. Device. So the cool thing about what your video is going to look like tomorrow morning is there's a blue dot bouncing around that screen. That blue dot is there to help show you the specific cold spot, the coldest spot in the frame at that moment. So I'm looking for 15+ degree temperature drops. It is 74 degrees out here for us tonight, so I'm going to be looking for 61 degrees and colder. I'm sorry, that would be 59 degrees and colder. So my math mistake. Writer, not a math guy. So anything on that blue dot, but again, I'm mainly looking at the blue anomalies that are moving around. That's what I'm looking for to see if they're going to actually take shape and be the coldest spot in the frame. I'm going to debunk a lot of insects. With your particular camera, just so you know, I don't always follow with this in real time because it's so small. I put it on a computer where you can slower than that.
You go ahead to get the cars. That's what I'm saying.
So you can always look at the front of it and you see a blinking red. Quick sound. There you go.
No, you can't see them.
What were her 4 questions? How she died? Age, how, where, all that.
How am I supposed to not record the cars when they're all over the place?
Supposed to work for? No idea. I said yeah.
Dylan, if you had any questions, you should have asked him.
Mr. Reagan. What? How? What? Okay. Where did you drive?
I heard 1842. Yes. A woman. Now, it's like different radio stations. It's a different
How's it going?
I ain't seen nothing.
Did you say something?
I don't think mine's recording. I don't think that. I think this ain't quit
Any other
recording.
readings that I need to worry about? That's something to be worried
Is
about.
that still recording?
Yeah.
From 6? Will you tell me what question I was supposed to ask him?
What happens to the mansion, and then when did that happen?
Okay, I got it.
I don't know. It's not anything to my recollection, but I'll write it down for sure. And again, with your camera, it's not always a follow-up in real time, because again, it's small, so might not see anything at all tonight, but when I give you the video back tomorrow, because I watch it on a computer screen, so that way I can see everything. So if I'm not paying attention to the smaller cameras between you and Joe over there, it's because your cameras are smaller. So again, just get nice, slow footage, and we'll all be able to watch it tomorrow.
All right. What did you hit?
47. What did he say about that? He said that was a lead.
You got 126. I see you came up.
Yeah.
If you start to see that 100 a little bit more steady,
You know how to work that
wrap it
thing?
up really quick, just so you know. Just because again, that can affect me. I'll explain that. Those hundreds, I mean, it's a good reading. Don't get me wrong, it's awesome. But again, I have to watch out for the safety. I have that person, so too much EMF can affect me in different ways. Yep.
got nauseous.
He was sick.
In the basement?
Yes.
Yep.
In here, pretty bad.
And he said, I don't feel good. We thought we were going to have to leave when we walked out of that room, and he was like, well, I got home now. And so we didn't think anything else about it. And then we went back in that room, and he was like, I'm sick again. And it was just that one room.
Another part of the story that's in there, that used to be the laundry room. So that's where all the servants used to come in and out. It's almost like they're just passing right through you all the time. Like it's on like a stone tape theory. It's almost on a loop. So I mean that's the whole purpose of that. Like it's on top. My point. There's a theory behind that. Why it's so active all the time? Because it's all around. There's a lot of breakers on that energy.
So we didn't read any reviews or anything because we didn't want to get internet before. And the whole time we were in there, I kept swatting my things, and I told him, I said, you got like stuff that's crawling on my things. And then when we got finished, they said a lot of people feel like their stuff, their earrings. They said that people's earrings got home, but they said they'll feel stuff crawling on them. And so it was really cool because we made sure that we didn't,
You want to go away without that.
Yeah.
Alright, I think I'm gonna rein everybody in just because there's so many cars going on in here tonight. So I'm trying to stay out of everybody's way. Alright, everybody, let's come on back to the back. You're getting used to it. Whatever you hear is what you hear. Because again, everybody's asking questions. So you don't know the answers that you're going to get all, or if anything's going to be relevant at all. Yeah, videos, go ahead and give your hands a break. So go ahead and stop.
In this place. Oh, yeah.
And then right as they were walking by, got directions.
Okay. So Chris, you got any? I know we were chatting. Did you hear anything on your spirit box along the way?
No, not on the way, no.
Okay, so EMF detectors, for those of you that have them, baseline is going to be between 7 and 9 because of the lampposts. So anything above that 9 is really where I get excited. We don't always get a whole lot out of this alley, just so you know. This is actually great camera work, especially Joe's, because this is where we've caught some orbs in the past. Every tour that comes down here, and again, this is a staple for Charleston, so apologies if you've heard this before, but I'm going to tell you a lot differently because of what we're doing. So here's how this goes. This is called Philadelphia Alley now. It used to be called Duelers Alley. So this is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. I want you to remember that dueling was illegal, so they actually had to go find a hiding spot to get, to do the shakedown, basically. So here's how the story goes. We all tell the same story. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. Any of you listening to Spirit Boxes, if you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it is not coincidence. We get it all the time because it's part of the doctor's name. So if you guys are getting my point on that one. Anyway, Joseph Brown Ladd, L-A-D-D. So he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. So she has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow, and the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. So Dr. Ladd comes to Charleston to prove that he's not after her cash. The coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start. His name was, well, there was somebody walking by, and he's seen it all. His name was Ralph Isaacs. He was about to stop everything. I stop on Ralph because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from, R.I. This is exactly why I bought that Ouija board device that Dylan's holding. So we were getting RI all the time on regular spirit boxes, and I wanted to make sure we were hearing it correctly because we've had it multiple times. I've been coming to this location for over 3 years, and we get it all the time. We just need a secondary clue so we know who it belongs to. Anyway, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me to 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from some friends of mine, and you'll be safe and good to go. They became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He wasn't after Amanda's money. So Amanda gets wind of this. She's moving down soon so they can get married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. Here's what I'm going to tell you about whistling ghosts. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit in the future has a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. It's just one of those things. There's actual proof of this one. I'm going to get to that. Anyway, Ralph and Dr. Ladd go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's just the way the hierarchy of Charleston worked back then. He gets better seats. So on the way home from seeing Richard III one night, they're arguing over the new actress. The doctor thought she was great. Ralph didn't. They start arguing, and Ralph is insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island. It gets very ugly. They went their separate ways. Ralph, having friends around town, goes to the newspaper. He puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Dr. Ladd saw it, rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. Let's settle this shit and somebody's gonna die. So they came down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He didn't want to kill his friend, which is often what happened at a duel. Ralph has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Dr. Ladd didn't die, but Ralph proved his point that he's still pissed off. So, doctor's friends pick him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. So, reason why he refused medical treatment, this guy's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed out the bullet wound himself because bullet wounds were much different in 1786 than what we think of them now. So he's probably just bleeding out the lead poisoning. So every tour that comes down here tells you to listen for the whistles. Cool thing for you, you don't have to do it in real time. We have 3 cameras rolling right now, plus my voice recorder. If a whistle's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. I will tell you, on spirit boxes, we've gotten the word whistle, we've had whistling parts of songs, and the word doctor come up on here in this location all the time. So when I say whistling parts of songs, think of Guns N' Roses' Patience, think of the Moves Like Jagger song. All those songs have whistling parts in it. We'll only get the whistle. I've even had it from commercials, which, by the way, now that the air conditioner stopped, you hear how quiet it is? It is always this quiet, even on a busy Saturday night. So it's kind of an eerie thought. Some people claim you can hear gunshots. I don't have anything from gunshots. If you're going to try this on your own and go all the way through the alley, I can't take you all the way through because I've actually been kicked out of here. We're going to talk about that next because that's the fun part of the story. But anyway, turn on your voice recorders, walk all the way through, see what you get later on. What I will tell you is that every local knows this story. So anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night or every single morning now that I have an office down here. I have to pass the alley. Since I got booted out of here, I always throw a whistle just because that's what you do around town. So just kind of keep in mind. Now, here's how I got booted out of here. This is the fun part. Just making sure there's no neighbors because they're the ones that booted me out of here. They actually turned me in. So the alley didn't go all the way through this way. So this is going further back than Dueler's Alley. It was cut off. There was a wall about halfway between us and Cumberland Street. That's because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston, which means those bricks down at the other side are older than the bricks on this side. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down at the end, along with fingerprint swipes at the end. I'm sure you guys all picked up by now. I'm all about history and piecing things together. I would always take my groups through here when I first started doing tours. So one night, November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10 is huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not there. That's the last place you're going to find him. I'm trying to scurry them along because it's also outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I was just trying to be respectful, not knowing I was out of bounds of where we're not allowed to go. So the new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at. She was on the tour that night, and we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I worked in retail management for over 20 years, mainly for Walmart. I will never work another Thanksgiving in my life. So you guys get the point of that. The next day was November 28th. Yes, the dates are relevant. I'm getting to it. So I called my partner that I had at the time. I told him what happened about the new owner, and he said, you can't go down that far. You're only allowed to go down halfway or reroute the group. So I told him, my group that night, I don't believe in the next story. I've never had anything happen there. I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. Let's see what happens. So before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating. I say pirate, most of your minds went to Blackbeard. Female pirate, Anne Bonny. That's who we're going to next. So I was like, all right, we'll see what else happens. We get up there. I told them what little bit I did know about piracy, which wasn't much at the time. Somebody else heard the number 300. I don't know what that means in real time. I write it down. The next day I'm doing the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. The exact 300th year anniversary of her pirate trial. So I went, damn it. Now I gotta learn about pirates. We'll let this group pass back through again. I know, right?
Thank you.
Oh, you're good, you're good. Yeah, I don't know what that group is down there. They might actually be the Players Club, because we're not allowed down that far, as far as tours go. So the next base, yes, we're going to be discussing pirates. And since then, I've researched and read more damn books on pirates than I ever wanted to in my entire life, trying to make sure we had a factual story about pirates. It's very difficult to do because it's pirate lore, guys. But lucky for you, I have a master's degree in creative writing. So trying to piece together a factual investigation it didn't take me too long, just about a year to get all the details right, that's all, and about 50 books on pirates, trying to make sure I had all the details right. I will also tell you that the next location is a hit or miss location. Anne Bonny is said to be seen all over town. Where we're going is, it's not that I haven't had evidence there, but I never know what's going to happen at that specific location, because we could get things that are relative to the space we're at now. So kind of keep that in mind. We're looking for bleed over from the Dr. Ladd story and whatever we're going to get out of the pirate story, where we will be able to spread out like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion. Any other words besides precisely pop up before we leave the space?
Since we've been here, I've gotten psychology, consent, precisely, and money.
Yeah, nothing. Last thing before we leave, where the gate is, where we're sitting right here. This gate, remember that the alley didn't go all the way through this way. So this was a shortcut to get to the cemetery in the event there was a loser to a duel, a dead guy. So otherwise they'd have to go all the way down to Queen Street and loop back around with the dead body. They made this, you can see that the archway, you'll notice it when you guys pass by it, is actually original, but the wrought iron is not. I want to say that the wrought iron was probably put there in the early 1900s. But again, I call this the death gate because, again, it was the passageway to get over to the courtyard to cut over to the cemetery. So it's just so that way they can celebrate the winter with a pint a lot quicker than dragging a dead body around town. So, everybody ready to go learn about pirates?
Yeah.
I was going to say, you guys got really quiet on me when we got down here. So video cameras, if you want to keep them rolling, by all means, I'm not going to stop you, but we will stay out of the way of the other tours around, when we get around the corner. You'll see me pull us to the back, or like out of the way kind of area, so I can go over the history, and then we will spread out and kind of see what we can find. It's a little bit more of a versatile location, where I won't be like so much worried about the vehicles around us. So, but again, if you get another 126, that's going to be a very odd anomaly for that location, just so you know. 126 is super high for any location outdoors, unless you're standing next to an electrical pole. Did you get anything coming out of yours?
I heard jealous, but that's it. Like nothing around it.
Okay. Again, yours doesn't always give all of the crazy other stuff that the others are doing. So, all right, let's go learn about pirates. Let's do this. R, right? It's rated R.
I hope it's not
I think it sounds so good.
I'm sorry, was that moving too fast for them? The scooter down maybe? Anybody hear anything along the way? Oh, we got to get you guys hearing stuff on those things. Like every one of them out here, we got to get you guys listening for something. Should be listening to them in between spaces.
I was too. Yeah.
What'd it say? Get a job?
Get a job.
Well, I have one. I'm good.
That may have been to her.
All right, so any other words on there after demand?
No.
Okay. All right, so this particular space is kind of an odd one. So we are going to discuss this little tiny building over here. Just kind of keep in mind other tours will be passing through. They go from that little walkway to this one, so we just stay out of their way when they're doing that. They just like to cut through. We actually investigate the space. But this is the gunpowder magazine. It's a museum now, so if you ever need to get out of heat or cold, it's a great $5 to spend, just so you know. But this building, those are not crosses on that building. Those are earthquake bolts. We talked about the big earthquake earlier. Those earthquake bolts are part of the reason why we're here, but let me explain what they are. If nobody's explained them to you, they're basically turnbuckles. So it goes all the way through the roof of the building, so if we have another earthquake, which we haven't, by the way, you can tighten those turnbuckles, and it's supposed to tighten the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, but that shit doesn't work. So again, those are up there because those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. If you look at this apartment building, those are also earthquake bolts. You guys have been seeing them all over town with lion heads and pineapples and all kinds of Charleston charms bullshit on there. Okay. So that's what those actually are. And we still make buildings with earthquake bolts in them. It's just part of our charm. But anyway, those are the first set of earthquake bolts they put in because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. So our story is actually tied to that. This building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. So this is what I call a familiar. For those of you that watch the TV shows, you've seen where they used like a teddy bear device to attract a child ghost?
Yeah.
Because it's something familiar. It's the same principle here. So again, that's why Anne Bonny said to be seen all over town, because we have a couple of other buildings around that same time era, just nothing this old. I know history can be long. I'll call out yawns all night, by the way. Anyway, the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No,
Yeah.
not at all. I'll answer for you. But anyway, 1708, follow me, there's a lot of twists here. Young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because there's a couple of twists. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was she that they had to leave the country by boat to land here? Anyway, they landed in Georgetown. It's just north of here. Dad bought a plantation. Mom dies pretty quickly. That means he's sending young Anne down here to be able to sell anything from that plantation to help keep things afloat. So, hence the familiar building. Now, Anne back home in Ireland, kind of a badass even back then. Remember its pirate lores? They say when she was 7, 8, 9 years old, she
I got
killed...
8. She was 8.
They say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So we have had the term servant, knife, and belly all in the same evening. Take that for what it's worth. Fast forward. The building's done in 13. Pirates are starting to come through Charlestown in 1715. Anne is stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. So it's a man's world at this point. First guy she falls in love with, and yes, I said first because there's a handful and we're going to go through them. First guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going, right? We've already mentioned her pirate name. Dad didn't approve. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married, and Cormac is now Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name comes from. However, James Bonny is not Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer, which means he's a spy for the British. He's a coward. She falls in love again a few years later. John Rackham. He goes by Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, just so you know who this guy actually is. Now, Calico Jack has his own ship, and Anne wants to be part of that crew on the ship. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? Think family.
That's bad luck.
It is bad luck. Thank you for keeping it family friendly. I get a lot of bad answers to that. First information, right? Anyway, it is bad luck, so he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world, so now she's a pirate. But let's put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in Jack's quarters, which means she's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl, and then they're going to vote and get Jack off the ship. So Jack decides he's going to drop her off in Cuba. Have the baby here. These are friends of mine. Come back later and we'll figure it out. She goes and has the baby, but returns with no baby. I cannot find what the hell happened to this poor child. The weird thing is that she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack angry. Now everybody's going to know he got a girl on the crew. While she was gone giving birth, Jack captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. Anne's going to go flirting to make Jack even more mad. We're on guy number 3 in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. Now we have 2 females on the same ship trying to be pirates. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure, but the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships. Anne and Mary, the rumor is that they were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up with their 1-bullet flintlocks to fight off this whole fleet of ships. That's obviously not going to work out. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at Jack. She says, I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. Dog is a very prominent word on your spirit boxes, just so you know. The judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. Jack and the drunken pirates are already dead and gone. Anne and Mary go in front of the judge and reveal their gender, and he doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. So, we plead our bellies was the last thing they shouted because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we don't know jack shit about her after her pirate career, to be quite honest. Like, there are so many rumors about that, but that's probably the most accurate information I can find. Mary Reed died a few months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. I don't know if either pregnancy was ever true of what they pleaded off to the judge, but I do know the judge's name. His name will show up here from time to time. A few things I left out. You all know what you're doing with your spirit boxes, hopefully by now. We just got to get you 2 to actually start to hear some things out of there, so that way we can actually get some true answers. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents on purpose, so that way you guys had something to work with. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship, the color of Anne Bonny's hair. I'll give you that one. That one was red. You can picture an Irish woman with green eyes. And then the other piece was the name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland. So, that's it. Anything else you want to ask? This is not a prominent English woman where we need to tiptoe around. just so you know, poke the bear on this one. We did get the word demand already, which was almost kind of like my marker of like, oh yeah, don't forget to tell him to poke the bear. Let's get some answers out of her. Sometimes she doesn't respond until we actually like, hey Ann, give us some shit. We want to know what's going on. With not like the prominent English one we talked about with Eliza Pinckney. So again, keep in mind there is another tour coming through with video cameras. Just be mindful of where you're at. So with yours, Jimmy, the ivy wall is not your friend, so you know. Too much depth going on with that I've seen so far. And again, I've only had that camera for like 2 months, so and that's just what I've heard.
It really
Anything
doesn't
wide
like
open.
any kind of structure at all.
Well, keep it wide open.
When you mentioned the mistress, it went to 30.
30?
30.
Holy cow. Jeff, have you gotten anything on yours? Well, I know, obviously.
Maybe like 1 or 2, but nothing.
Yeah,
No,
well, you know
when you-
natural EMF is one.
When you first started talking, and when you said he moved here with his mistress, it went to 30. It's only gone as high as 6 cents, but that one word sent it to 30.
Interesting.
When you said that she came back dressed like a female and you didn't like it, I got stuck.
It's actually going to be more relative to Calico Jack. I'll explain that before we...
So it's Ann's parents, the name of the ship,
where she grew up,
where she grew up.
and she had red hair. So anything else you want to know? By all means, go for it. Just no yes, no questions. But yeah, let's definitely spread out. Let's see what kind of footage we can get. Ouija board device. You're looking for ABMR. Did you get an RI back at Philadelphia Alley, by the way? Nothing. I was hoping it was going to come up just a few weeks ago. AB and Bonnie. And then MR for Mary Reed. So go ahead and do a full reset up here. Jeff, just so you know, we do have 2 electrical poles, and then the parking meters on the other side. Just, I don't get excited about the front half of this. You're right, Corey.
I'm not.
There was somebody right next to it.
Okay. Sure. I'm trying to make sure I'm not in shadows.
Yeah, shadows and absence of light.
Just open it.
Is it me?
We can see you.
Yeah, we can see you just fine. You just go about, you just keep on doing what you're doing, talking to the hand.
You got yours recording. Yeah, you're good too. How's yours coming along? Have you seen anything on that guy yet?
I haven't seen anything. No.
As much as I love this camera, it is not, like, I get more out of the other, like, the new SLS has been giving me more than the thermal lately. I will tell you, like, I have a full cold person walking towards this camera one night, and an 8-year-old girl was the one using it.
Wait, I got
So,
it.
I mean, it was a little, like, Blair Witchy, so I had to stop and do a lot of, like, screenshots in between to make sure, like, what we had was legit. But I verified with the other camera to make sure nobody was coming towards us at that point. There was nobody there, but it was another, like, child-like figure going towards the girl that was using the camera.
Yeah.
So, but when we get stuff on there, that's like a, oh my god, check this out. Like, can't make it up. Can't, even if I wanted to. That's why, I mean, I love it, but it doesn't always give us what we want.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Name of the ship, name of her parents, name of the time she grew up.
Saying you get weird vibes here,
Yeah.
or like craziness.
It's usually her problem.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Listen, were they pregnant at the time? You're making a huge fool out of me right now. No. I don't fuck with you. Oh. That's what she just said in my... Okay. Well. Tell me the town that you grew up in.
No, me and
Where you're at is actually a good spot.
Well, Dylan.
Kind of sounds like Ireland.
You want this? I ain't getting the jack.
Alright, nothing on the top.
All right. Caitlin, you got anything yet? You got anything?
I got 1886. Or 1886.
It's actually You said promise. That makes me happy. That's We get the word promise here all the time. That's why I have nothing to do with anything. So there's a
Makes him on ours. Hope you walk inside the store parking lot.
research here.
You take yours.
Okay, well that makes me feel better because it goes so fast.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. I'm just, I listen to that every day. This earphones are one of my expertise. I can use any one of them and I can just start right off the phone, no matter what speed it's at. That's just kind of when other teams call me, this is one. Because I'm that good at earphones, no matter what speed. Kind of like that. Why do you think that's from?
He's just gonna do right here with
We
his
just talked about
tomorrow.
Ralph Isaac's over at
Good for AB.
That's why I was waiting to see, like, if you remembered it, was it something just triggered in the back of your brain? But apparently it wasn't, because you didn't even remember this story. So, there you go. You got 2 relevant things so far. You're on a roll. Keep going. How's your waging? Anything? Nothing.
I tried to get him to let me have it. He won't let me have it.
I tried to get him to let me have it too.
Listen to this. How old are we here? What did you say?
It sweeps the radio, Dylan. That sweeps the radio.
Z?
Jeff, you got anything at all?
You're supposed to be remembering the letters.
It gets full like that, you reset it. What did you say right there?
It sweeps the radio station.
You hear gunshots
boom.
in the alley.
Somebody getting shot over there. Yeah, I'm hearing gunshots in the alley over there.
That's why I don't work on 4th of July.
Okay, we had a funny.
What'd you get?
Alicia gets great. Rose gets Sophie. Oh, you're vaping too. He's doing it too.
Caitlin's got several things off of hers here since he talked to her that
Yours purple. Idea.
he said mean something, and you'll find out in a minute. You hear anything, see anything?
You looking right. You gotta look for it.
You're watching that about like Dylan's watching the Ouija board.
Hey.
He just lets it.
Martin said he got hold of it and work on it.
Did it?
Yes.
Over there at I got cold. Over there at the first parking lot we got to.
Oh, where you got the big high ring?
And then whenever we got to Doolin Alley over here, I was burning up.
Yeah, I was burning up in the alley.
We're not involved in school with
That's what I chalked it up to.
Ralph Isaacs was a lawyer. Yeah, you're welcome. Great job. So, You're on a roll. It's like you got things going on with Ralph.
Jimmy and I traded it
out. Anything coming out of yours? Nothing you can make out? No Ouija board stuff? Weird.
I'm really listening hard. I promise. I just can't. I can't hear anything yet. I don't see anything. You guys look gorgeous, though. I'll tell you what. Whoa. Killing it. You just look like stick figures on this thing, but great looking stick figures. Uh-oh. You got a ghost on you.
Come on.
Oh, right next to you. Oh, well, we just went to 6. When you said that, I don't know that. It was, he knows.
Didn't look like.
You paying attention?
Still got the cold.
Me?
How's your temperature?
What
You got a
are you
gauge
listening
up there. It's the lower number.
74. 74. It's been varying about 2 degrees as we go around.
Yeah, and I look for 15.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to read?
I'm not the ghost.
Here's the party.
You guys all wish I was the ghost. Alright, Caitlin's turning into our star over here. She's doing really well.
Are you actually, like...
What are y'all supposed to be listening to?
Alright, let's rein everybody in.
Word.
What's going on here?
Don't say something every once in a while. I get to say
You heard
Caroline.
whistling?
Probably the same people that did the firecrackers in the air. You heard whistling? You said?
Yeah,
he's got a
it's
spirit
song
box.
whistling.
Oh, you
Look, what are you supposed to tell him?
Yeah, we traded. Chrissy's
The
just
things
not
I've told
asking.
him is when it comes in.
What did you ask?
Like,
Yeah,
it'll be
I'm
all
just
this
trying to
and then
figure out
like
the
I
name.
heard
What did you
Caroline.
ask that made you hear whistling?
Oh, I'm just asking about the name of the ship, and I was like, oh, you know, it's the one where you got captured and you met your friend.
No.
Come on. I heard heaven.
While you were moving, something
I'm not-
green was down here, and then you moved it. Does it do green as well as purple? Because there was green next to me. So when she had it,
You want more of this?
Like right when I was gonna
yeah,
get
when
rid
you
of
were
it?
panning to talk to him, there was something green.
Man, this
right
is a
next to
headache. I want to be able to listen to this for a long
It's not easy.
Maybe it's all- well, it's being recorded, so maybe
Yep.
he can
Yep.
find it.
And maybe if I don't, you will. Because you're getting the video back.
Yeah.
Jeannie, you got anything going on?
No, not other than Caroline.
Okay. Caitlin,
Huh?
you got anything else?
I got 4 Tyree. Somebody. I don't know if it's like a football player. Alicia!
Yes.
Alright, yeah, let's head over to the wall. Yeah, go ahead and give it a stop. Just be comfortable with it.
Hurting so bad.
I have a story for you.
These people are freaking nuts.
7 years ago, I was on a ghost tour at that, you know, the...
See, this people look like that blue clothes.
I'm scared. Yeah, I have pictures of
I want to sit upstream.
that I have like graphic pictures where it's
There's
there.
little ghosts that's following you around, Daddy.
Every time I enter this park, this particular park, I know them. So you're gonna blindfold them?
And he's like, we all go in.
create 2 loops that go over your ears. It's not going to go all the way around your head. I'm also going to give you guys the noise canceling headphones. So take one. The noise canceling headphones, I want you guys to kind of get used to when we come over. Your family members are actually going to put these on you, but I do want you to kind of tinker around them. See.
It's like, oh, you have a bad reputation. You're a little person.
So, first time I came in here, guys, I had no idea what we were going to find. There's a lot of monuments around. Well, I was looking at the truck over the cobblestone. So, I only had 2 people the first time I came here. Every year I change this up. I take a location out and add a new location. I get a lot of repeat customers that don't want to always go to the same places, even though every investigation is different. Wow, that must be a right time. But anyway, the young lady using the spirit box, she heard a couple of things. First thing she heard was 1828, very specific year, and she heard the name Henry. I was using the word list that Alicia has, and the name Tim showed up on it the minute we walked in.
Real quick, haven't you been hearing Henry a lot?
She heard it.
Henry
Got it
from the very
earlier.
beginning.
So,
Multiple times.
behind me is the bust of Henry Timrod, born in 1828. He was a writer and a poet. So we did hear on the other spirit box that Chris had that he wrote a book along the way here. Of course, we were talking about my books, but she heard it on the spirit box. Anyway, here's the quick and skinny on Henry. He was sick through most of his life. Being born in 1828, he's old enough to go fight in the Civil War. He wants to go fight for the Confederates. So he goes out to the battlefield, and his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. So they sent him home, knowing he was a writer, and said, go be the voice of the war. He came home and started writing poetry about what was going on the battlefield. He became known as the laureate of the Confederacy. It's a pretty big, prestigious title for us writers. Anyway, he has a son a few years after he comes home, and you guys are going to know about the son? They're not. The son's name was Willie. He actually was born on Christmas Eve and died 9 months later in October. So, those are the specifics I normally poke the bear with Henry on the other side. But, this being a very tragic death, him being only 9 months old, a few more years go by and he's not writing as much as he should be. So, his comrade, or his college buddy, calls him up and basically says, oh my God. I hate like when I'm shouting at you guys. I'm trying to make it dark and spooky and you guys, like, I gotta yell. But anyway, his college buddy says, come out to my cottage in Columbia. He says, you can use my cottage out here and finish working on what you're supposed to be doing, which is writing. So that's where he wrote his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality, person of short life. And then he coughs, and it lands on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. So that blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk. We call this the Blood Book. We show it one day a year at the Charleston Library Society, where the actual collection of Timrod is actually held. You have to be a member of the society to be able to see the Blood Book. However, the internet's beautiful, which means I'm going to show you the damn page, and then we're going to go poke the bear with Henry and see what the hell we can get out of him.
Was he by chance tall?
He was very short, actually.
Oh, okay. I was walking here. On the walk here, I got tall, followed by down, and I was all like, are they just birds?
This way this time, so you can see beholder of brief mortality, the blood stain. Looks like a man writing at his desk. So again, kind of a creepy, good ending for us to...
Is this another one we shouldn't touch?
No, you're fine with this one. But you can see the blood stain.
No.
Probably damn. Pretty good stuff. So this to me tells the whole story. Beholder of brief mortality, person of short life, he coughs, he dies, lands right on the page. By the way, the wife's name was Katie, in case I bring that up based on what they're going to be telling me coming out of their spirit boxes. So when we get over there, I'm going to give them a few tips, as well as the group, so that way we all know what we're doing. Did you get anything when you walked around, by the way? I noticed you kind of wandered off as soon as we got here. So let's go see what we can get out of Henry. Let's do this. We're going to turn around and get very close to him.
Boom. Yeah.
Get it on the film, so I don't write anything down during this, just because I want to make sure I stay focused on real-time things. Again, it's just kind of this is an odd experiment to go through, and I do want you to tell me every little thing you're hearing. Also keep in mind it's okay to answer yes, no if you hear it. You don't know what I'm asking. I might ask something very, very specific, that's a yes-no answer, but I will also direct the spirit to communicate a yes-no answer. So we'll see if we get either one of those out. Just don't forget to let us know what you're hearing. Some people get under and they're like, they just sit there for 5 minutes. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So, again, remember to tell us what you got going on. So, family members, I need one person for each person under, so obviously Jimmy, you're up. What's going to happen too is Jimmy's going to control your volume. And then Caitlin, whoever's going to work your spirit box, they need to work your volume. You're going to go up to turn the volume up. This is good, or turn it down too loud. So again, that's the hand signals to the other person. They're also going to help you with those noise canceling headphones to put them over your ears. So
over the earbuds.
Yeah, blindfold first. Did you guys figure the blindfolds out?
No.
Okay.
How do we do it?
It is 2 parts. Pull them apart. Now let's hit the loop, and then you rip it here.
Smile.
Can be.
I thought it was here.
That means that she now need to be canned up.
Oh, oh wait.
This is October.
I moved my hair. Sorry.
It started there.
Okay.
It moved over. And then with the tree, it went away.
Oh, scheiße.
And then there's, yeah,
Oh
I
my
have
God,
it.
I can't.
And then it's there again.
Literally,
That one there needs to be
I literally cannot
It has color
hear
to it.
or see anything.
Okay,
Needs
so
to be what?
do you know how to control the volume on there?
Is there analyzed photo?
On there, and then I want them to be the same.
Maybe I'll send them in the mail. I just got
Oh.
birds. You got what?
Birds. They just had a hang on.
Everybody that's sitting, let's go ahead and let's stand up. Get like crowded into the middle of the Yeah, got it.
Behind them even? Do we need to make a circle?
Volume's over here.
But not so high. Sorry, am I being
Nope,
Completely.
she can't hear me
She's
anyway.
asking you.
I don't even know. I'm sorry if I'm being annoying, everybody.
No, you're fine. She doesn't know. Yeah, just set it
Wait,
off to the
turn
side.
it up higher. I can't hear the voice.
What'd you say?
She's giving the.
What'd you say?
I want to make sure we get started at the same time.
Oh. Oh yeah. Okay, that's good.
She's good. Go ahead and set it down.
Oh yeah, that's good.
All right. I want everybody kind of in the front that has a camera. It's 11:13.
You want shooting at them?
Yeah, shooting directly at them.
Sorry.
We are looking to speak with Henry Timrod. Timrod, you know how this works. The young lady sitting here with the things over their ears can hear you, so you need to be able to speak through them so that way we can actually understand that you're here. Henry Timrod, please start with telling us your occupation.
You really can't stop something.
Henry, please tell us what your occupation is to kind of prove that you're here to the rest of us. I know it's very noisy, it's a busy Saturday night for us, and I know you don't like all the noise. But if you could just tell us what your occupation. Do we want to go straight into your family? Do we want to go into that instead of the formalities?
Wait, am I supposed to be talking now?
Yes.
What I hear? Oh,
Yes.
yes. Tap me if it's a yes. Yes. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm so sorry.
Henry, please tell us about which family member you would like us to ask about first.
Don't jump. NFL.
Family.
Okay, Henry, can you tell us what sound we're hearing right now?
Chicago.
What sound just came from the church?
War and Fred.
Which war? Which war did you fight in?
To the grandest.
Hip hop. Oh. Wait.
Henry, what sound just came out of the church?
World War III didn't happen.
She shouldn't be able to hear us at all.
Can you hear us? Today.
Henry, let's start over. I got a pretty large group with me tonight. Can you please tell us what your occupation was?
Brothers.
Doctor?
Who is actually here with us? Can you give us your first name?
Story.
Did I tell your story earlier?
Vet?
Who is actually here? Give us a first name, please.
Lydia?
Who is Lydia? I don't know who that is. I want to go back to Henry Timrod. Let's get into some of the details that you've given us in the past. Can you please tell us the name of your wife? We want some proof that you're here. Anybody else's devices?
It's not giving me anything.
Henry Timrod, please tell us anything you want us to know that's specific to you. What'd she say?
Franklin.
This means nothing.
We're trying to talk to you. We're trying to learn more about you. I told you I've been reading some of your poetry. I've been reading about your life. And we had a nice conversation about your wife a few weeks ago. Doctor again. Do we have Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd here with us? That's a yes, no answer.
My soul means nothing.
Can you give us a yes, no answer if you are Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd?
I know you expect.
No, bitch.
Dr. Ladd's house is like a block away, just so you guys know why I'm like, they both gave us doctor, and I'm like poking to see if it's actually Dr. Ladd. Henry Timrod, please give us something specific about your life. Names of your family members, the year you died, the war you served in.
Serious wound.
It's a doctor again, isn't it?
To
Where was
be
the serious
honest,
wound?
I was in the war.
What serious wound did you have? That'll help us identify you.
Blue.
It was me.
War.
I'm gonna explain that one. Damn it.
Blue war.
Blue war?
96.
Died.
Dr. Ladd died in 86.
Middle of the journey.
We need to know who's here.
Aaron. Somebody gets.
We need names.
I keep saying Aaron.
How many of you are
Your
here?
questions about your.
Oh,
It's always the same number.
we
when I
were
ask that.
0.
It's always 5.
We were 0.
How many people do we actually have here with us? Because this is not making any sense whatsoever. Any readings, Jeff?
Vietnam.
She's all in the war.
She is
Yeah.
over there.
We,
Henry, I'm getting a little frustrated. This is a couple nights in a row where you haven't really given us much. Can you give us something specific?
Darla.
Who is Darla?
Is there a chance this is something new?
Thinking
Possible. I mean, there's a lot of monuments in here. I get stuff from the other folks that are here too, but I always get the number 5 if we ask how many people are here.
Whatever it is, don't let it win.
I'm trying not to. I want some damn answers already. Can you tell us your first name of who you actually are?
you are an example of someone who is a parent
That's a lot.
locally.
Well, Henry wasn't native, but that's kind of a big stretch. I didn't hear what she said.
Mary.
Who were you married to?
Who were married?
Department of Corrections.
Lewis?
Anybody else got anybody listening? All the listening ones are being used. How's the Ouija board coming? Anything coming up on there? HT?
No. I've looked at it several times and it's did OD and OD. I don't know if that means anything.
I just got a company.
Henry, we're going to wrap this one up if you don't start giving us some answers. I'm going to give you like 2 more minutes. Tell us anything you want us to know. I've asked a lot of questions without really knowing who I'm talking to. If you're Dr. Vlad, say yes. If you're Henry Timrod, say here.
Yes. No.
Well, damn it.
Charleston.
Make up your mind. Dr.
Blindfold.
Yes, they are blindfolded because they're trying to listen to you. They take away their senses so that way they can hear you better.
Lipstick.
Yes, I told you she's going to have Tourette's. Did I not call it?
Boobs.
We have a dirty ghost.
Moon. What? Get out of my boobs.
So glad we got this on film for y'all.
Yes.
I think it's time to call it.
War.
Caitlin's been pretty quiet. Did you notice?
Firehouse.
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 Korean.
In my head, I was like,
All the
oh, that's some nice
Yeah.
lipstick.
All right, family members, let's tap them on the leg. Let's get them out of there.
Statue.
Statue's good too.
She's not going to
Is
remember
that
what
because-
this means.
All right, don't get up. That's first and foremost. Do not get up.
Are you okay?
Yeah. So you're probably feeling a little disoriented. So how are you both feeling right now? Caitlin, you look like you just took a nap.
Yeah, I'm good.
You actually did pretty well. So we did have like 1 or 2 like maybes, and you guys said some things that were kind of like a weird, like I don't know what the hell that is. Like the name Darla came up.
Named Darla. Named Lydia.
Yeah, Lydia showed up. I don't know who that is, but you both said doctor within 1 minute of each other. So I was trying to figure out, because Dr. Ladd's house is literally 0.3 miles right that way. So that's why I always like, we've been getting things about the house, but you guys didn't say anything relative to the house. It's yellow, not blue. You kept saying blue, but you also have a blue moon on.
Yeah.
But again, I look for things right there on the house.
It's like they started describing you.
Blindfold.
Yeah,
It's like almost like they were
blindfold.
telling us that you could see you.
Yeah.
You wearing lipstick?
I
Yes.
am.
Okay.
And I never do. But I am
It was
today.
like blindfold, lipstick, boobs, moon.
Yeah.
All right, so those of you with cameras, by all means, go ahead and stop your cameras. I would say they